Of course, The Last of Us Season 2 is coming our way, and delving into everything going on in Part 2. We are going to live react to the trailer right now. We will do our best to talk through it if you're an audio listener. I don't even know how much is going on, though, but I'm ready when you are, Barrett, Courtney.
Hey there, kiddo.
Oh, you want to start or what?
Catherine Air, let's go. Arian Jackson.
Wintertime.
It looks like the game. She's gonna go in a snowball fight in a second. That's my name. Almost got a guitar.
Let's try something different.
She's learning. Fucking Future Days, come on.
You can't heal something unless you're brave enough to say it out loud.
Her and Dina.
They're already just crushing it.
Fucking insanely good.
Say the thing you're afraid to say. Say it out loud, no matter what it is, no matter how bad.
Good looking man.
What did you do?
Hey.
Oh, that's
fucking awesome.
We're getting the Abby intro, gamers.
It was a giant group running at them, by the way.
Oh, the Whistler,
horde.
Whistler people.
Stair fights, yeah. Stair fights.
Jesus.
Looks like Tony Parker.
Jeff Wright playing Jeff Wright.
Damn. Ah.
Oh my goodness. Goosies. Little Pearl Jam right there.
You gotta have it in there. Last of Us 2025. Woo-wee! That was fucking hot.
That
was fucking hot.
That was looking pretty dang
Can we go
good.
back? We don't need to do the frame by frame, Barrett, but can we go back and can you give me when Ellie's being held there at the end screaming and crying? Because I assume it's the moment, right? But it looked like a difference blocking for it because in the game she's down on the ground, right? But maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, I'm extrapolating things.
It's also it's interesting because the lighting is different. It seems different as well.
Oh, yeah, you can tell. She's acting her ass off. That's definitely,
Yeah.
that's definitely the scene.
She's acting her ass off right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's exciting.
Also, she
This could also be
in a tube top. What?
She looks shirtless.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, this could be a Seraphite scene as well. Because
they'd be clipping
like,
wings for sure.
Yeah, or like seeing like other people being tortured or something. Like, there's a possibility that they go even further than the scene in the video game. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're going to deviate, I bet, in some ways, right? Of course, I'm going to go to Deadline, if you haven't been keeping up. This is an old article. Of course, for some reason on this one, I didn't put it. This is Nelly Andriva from June 2024. Talking about Season 2, talking to Neil, talking to Craig. Of course, when Season 2 arrives in 2025, it will be shorter than Season 1. Season 1 was 9 episodes. Season 2 is 7 episodes. Craig was very quick to point out that this isn't a bad thing. This isn't them trying to cram things in. It's actually them taking their time. Quote, the story material that we got from part 2 of the game is way more than the story material that was in the first game. So part of what we had to do from the start was figure out how to tell that story across seasons, Mason said. When you do that, you look for natural breakpoints. And as we laid it out, this season, the national breakpoint felt like it came after 7 episodes. I imagine it means natural, and that's a typo, but I'm going to read what they wrote. That's what they wrote.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's Deadline, not me. That means that Mason and Druckmann envision the series running for at least 3 seasons and possibly 4. So far, The Last of Us has been picked up through Season 2 by HBO, so further seasons will depend on viewership, something the duo is cognizant of. Quote, we don't think that we're going to be able to tell the story even within 2 seasons, 2 and 3, because we're taking our time and go down interesting pathways, which we did a little bit in Season 1 too, Mason said. We feel like it's almost assuredly going to be the case that, as long as people keep watching and we can keep making more television, Season 3 will be significantly larger. And indeed, the story may require Season 4. Later in the interview, Mason sounded even more definitive. Quote, one thing is absolutely for sure. I don't see how we could tell the story that remains after Season 2 is complete in one more season.
Yeah, as soon as they said 7 episodes, immediately I went to, oh, this has to be at least 3 seasons then of like of what Last of Us 2 content there's going to be, because I can't imagine you getting to the midpoint break of Last of Us 2 and only 7 episodes. That feels like just way too much time to cover in just 7 episodes of content. But then that leads me to ask the question, what would be the natural breakpoints then? Because then, you have the easy one of, all right, cool, when you switch perspectives, are we going to cut earlier? Barrett has an idea.
If we're thinking of this story being over the course of
real quick
3
timeout.
seasons?
Real quick timeout. I think you're here. We're talking about where we want The Last of Us to go. I want to be clear. I think we can. We're just doing spoilers. Spoilers are on from here. I would imagine you know enough about this.
They're talking about possibly breaking it up into 3 seasons or 2.
Possibly 3.
Yeah, Craig is saying he doesn't see how he could do 2, indicating he thinks there'd be a 4th.
See, I think of it more so as like we end the 2nd season at the break, right? You do season 3 as Abby's perspective, and then season 4 is expanding that last like few hours into something a bit more than just the, it being just the last 3 hours of California.
See, I wonder if we don't get Joel's death until the end of season 2.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think, what if you let it cook that long? Because everybody loves these characters in this world, right? Tell more side stuff and more things, and we can look through this and see if there's anything beyond it.
Like this scene itself, I feel like is an indication that that's not true, right? Also, like, where's the subways? Or
I mean, we are seeing Seraphites, but again, I'm thinking of
seeing Seraphites.
But think about, and I hear you, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong, but it is TV, right?
You could say he's wrong, Greg.
No. I mean, we don't know, right? So I'm thinking, but it's TV, right? Flash forwards, flashbacks, all these different things. You're introducing tantalizing things that for us we'd all freak out about, right? But maybe for everybody else they wouldn't.
And that's my thing is, I think maybe that builds in time for you to even set up the Seraphites a bit more independently of us, meeting them through Abby and through Ellie. Like, what if it is, instead of just the two perspectives, it is now 3, and you're adding in like Lev's perspective or Lev's sister's perspective as a thing, and we're getting those coinciding storylines at the same time, and they somehow meet up toward the end of season 2. I know that's tougher to do with the Seraphites, but I think a powerful season 2 ending would be to build the Ellie and Abby story at least independently, and then at the end, maybe in the last couple of episodes, get them finally meeting, and it's like, oh shit, all right, the meeting of Titans is here.
Yeah.
Do you worry about losing audience members by killing them at the end of season 2?
Well, see, my thing is, I think penultimate episode you'd kill him, because I think you'd get, and this is in this world. I think the natural breakpoint, yes, is to tell Ellie's story, then start Abby's or whatever. But if the way I would do it, if you're like, no, we're just going to do this, right? I think you have to have the last episode of the season, or maybe even the second to last episode of the season, be the morning. You know what I mean? Of Ellie going in and hugging the jacket and going through his stuff and finding the space books and all that stuff, right? Of seeing him trying to connect again. And you know how much they flash back around here. And then I think the way to set you off for the next season in this world, if that's what you're doing, it would be all right, let's go fucking, Tommy shows up and like, we know, we saw, let's go. And they go
Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, let's go hunt some orc.
Yeah.
This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. Y'all know I've been outside a lot in the sun playing some Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing my Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day 1, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. You can try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. shadyrays.com, use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. This episode is brought to you by Hims. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we'll always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims has treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing access to affordable sexual health treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. No insurance is needed. Pay one low price for your treatments, online visits, ongoing shipments, and provider messaging. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/kindafunny. That's HIMS.com/kindafunny for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/kindafunny. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products, which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions, details, and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
So are you saying that they tell a fuck ton of original story leading into the penultimate episode of season 2?
I'm saying
Because
throughout.
that's a
I'm
lot
saying
of time.
throughout season 2, when we're talking about trying to why would you have flashbacks? Why would you have the Seraphites? Why would you have this? I think you're introducing more people that you have to flesh out in a different way.
Yeah, that's my thought too.
If that's how they did it.
I think you maybe take more time to flesh out in that way, and I think there's flashback stuff that maybe you could fill into season 2 as opposed to like doing it throughout the rest of the episodes. Of course, like the pivotal flashbacks you save, right? The flashbacks of toward the end of The Last of Us where we get the reveal of what was it? Ellie essentially telling Joel to fuck off. It's been a long time now, so I can't remember the exact verbiage, but maybe you save that for when that happens in the natural progression of the story. But I feel like there's other stuff in terms of building the characters. Maybe you can even like have a younger Abby and her experiencing what happened with her dad, right? Like maybe you can have that in a season 2 as opposed to getting around there in season 3 or 4.
We had a full last episode about Bill and Frank, right? Like
Yeah.
I think the show in season 1 really took its time. And there were several episodes where it's like, man, I expected more to have happened. I'm still enjoying it, but they are really kind of taking their time getting to these next story beats. So it feels like they can kind of stretch out one plot beat into a full episode if needed, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they end up doing with it.
Yeah, it's one I've thought about a lot because I think it's an interesting conversation as far as the reaction to The Last of Us 2 from the audience, and like obviously Naughty Dog is seeing all of this shit, right? And like there's so many levels as far as the reaction Last of Us 2, as far as like, you know, there's the pure toxic reaction of like, you know, just gamers being like
Gamers gaming.
Yeah, like a toxic faction of gamers being toxic. But then I think there is like legitimate critical, you know, analysis they can have around Last of Us Part 2 and whether it's successful in telling the kind of story it wants to tell. What are the things that it could do better? Is it a masterpiece? What does Neil think about all of it, right? Has Neil had... change our heart would not even be the right way to put it, but like... Different perspective, right? Has 4 years of Last of Us Part 2 being out, has his perspective on how he would like to tell this story in a different format changed at all? Because I'm of the mind that like, I think it is a large ask of the audience to... And I think we got this with Last of Us 2, the video game, right? Introduce us to Abby, have her immediately kill Joel, and then get us on Abby's side. That's like the entire mission of the game, and I think it worked for a lot of people. But I think for a lot of people,
mediums are different, right? Mediums are different, and
yes.
I know that's the point.
That's what I'm driving to.
But I want to say like if this was just Neil making a show for the first time or whatever, I think what he's gonna do. Craig Mazin is from the television world. The television world is cognizant of literally where everyone left The Walking Dead, right? Glenn gets killed. Spoilers for The Walking Dead. Glenn gets killed, right? Abraham too, but like Glenn gets taken out, and so many people were like, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like Negan. I don't want to be a part of this." And whereas in the comic, that was such a moment, right, where it was like, "I got to keep reading. I got to know more." Blah, blah, blah. For so many other people in television, it was a turnoff. So I really do think for season 2, right, you've got to have it be. We have to understand Abby's motivations in a different way, right? Like, I don't know if it makes sense to... Is it bold enough that season 2 opens with Abby mourning her dad, and that's where we start, and then it's like, you know, then we're back to Joel and Ellie. You kind of forget about that, and then we see the introduction of her. And
my other argument with it, too, and this is like, you know, to add on to the exact point I think we're making here, is Last of Us Part 2 is a video game, right? In terms of mediums are a different thing. I think part of what Last of Us Part 2, the video game, tries to do as far as getting us back on Abby's side, or like trying to like show us both sides of the story and get us to at least identify with Abby to a bit, even if you don't end up liking that character or whatever
Yeah.
it is they literally put you in her shoes. They give you the controller and go, hey, you're controlling this character for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And you don't have a choice in the matter. I think part of what Last of Us 2 is doing is, as a video game, like, you know, critiquing what it means to, like, you know, have access to these violent actions and take out these violent actions as these characters in a story. You don't really have that same benefit of doing that in TV. So I think naturally you have to do it differently. I don't think you can do it beat for beat the same way that you did in the video game. And I do think a part of, I think, helping out that, ease of like getting us there where it is, you know, Abby kills Joel and then we take off with Ellie on this revenge quest is, I think, building it a bit more to a place where it is almost more of a gut punch when we get there, where we're like, well, maybe we aren't like this, but like maybe a new audience is like, oh, I didn't expect this of Abby. I've known Abby for 4 episodes now. She wouldn't do such a thing, and then you get to where she kills him.
You can't show Abby though. Like it
here's-
needs to be a surprise.
Currently working in the chat says, trouble is if you establish Abby's character, then the viewer will guess she will kill Joel, and the impact will be completely flat in the show. What if rather than we start with her in the hospital mourning her dad, right? What if it's the shot you saw there of her in a graveyard mourning her dad, right? And it seems like it's this weird one-off or whatever. The viewer doesn't understand that her dad got killed by Joel and Ellie, right? If you're a new viewer.
That's how you do it in the TV show. I don't know how it would play for people who've already played the game, but I think in a TV show where you're establishing this new character and you know she lost her dad and you don't exactly know how, and then the big buildup is that, like, oh, they found out the town where he killed, that this guy is living in, and this is the guy that killed her dad and all this stuff. And then, like, at the moment, if, like, we are doing the whole, if we're killing Joel episode, what is it's 7 episodes this season?
Yeah.
Episode 6, episode 7, I think that's where the gut punch comes in, and that's how you avert a lot of people dropping off like they did in Walking Dead.
And see, I think one of the interesting things is, if we're spitballing this, which I love that we are, Episode 1, we open, it's Abby mourning her father. We don't understand how he died. We don't understand what happened. It's whatever. Her setting off on her journey with her group of friends, right? Looking, because they want payback or whatever. Maybe not even that much on the nose, but it's their daily life doing the thing for an entire episode, right? And then, at the end, I think you could get to the thing where Tommy and Joel end up on their doorstep, come in, look, it's because we do, knock him out or whatever in credits. Right, and then the viewer pieces together that's what it was. Maybe even get a flashback to whatever of her finding her dad dead after all of that kind of thing. Then the next episode 2 is more in line with the game. That is, we wake up in Ellie's shoes and we go find Dina, and we had a fight with Joel last night. We're out of time, you know what I mean? But you set it up that way to make the viewer understand what Abby's doing. Or why mad, we're on her side, this fucking sucks, she seems cool. Oh shit, it was Joel that ruined her life.
I really do like the idea of setting it up an Abby episode that is akin to the Bill and Frank episode, where it is more standalone. This is a Abby story. My pitch would even be, maybe that could be your route of introducing the Seraphites and have it be, you don't start off with Abby's dad. Maybe you start off with some kind of conflict between.
You show how they get radicalized or something.
Yeah, like you show some, like you tell some story between the Seraphites and the wolves, and maybe toward the end of the episode, that's when you get the reveal of like Abby's dad is gone, and like you have the episode on this very like dour note, and then we don't see her till a couple episodes later, or maybe the next episode, where it is, oh shit, we learn as the audience that she's killed, or that Joel's killed her dad.
We'll also get a full ass Dina episode. You got to assume. So that
Dina?
That adds like
heard of her?
so that adds like even more time to to sort of flesh out this whole season, because I know 6 episodes, if we are predicting that around maybe episode 6 or whatever, or at least the end of the season, that's where we see Joel get that golf club, the 360 yards down center, landing on the fairway. Like, there's still plenty that they can kind of explore to fill out that time without it feeling like filler.
I've not played The Last of Us 2 since Last of Us 2 came out.
Right.
And so, I don't remember fully what that like intro sequence was before Ellie goes off to Seattle, but there was quite a bit in there, right? Like I remember there was the whole scene where Ellie and Dina like get lost in a place and smoke weed and all that shit. Right?
Yeah, it's a good, I would say 2, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hour buildup. There's a lot of going back and forth.
What you eating?
Human.
Proposition chicken.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Leftover